back and I wondered, what is my purpose in life? I mean, I remember daily people that had paid with their lives in Vietnam. I carry on my shoulder a tattoo for 44 men that died one night, May 8th, 1967, at a place called Con Tien. And I've lived my whole life remembering each of them and remembering that they didn't get to live the rest of their lives. They never got to come home. They never got to have grandchildren. They never got to come to an event like this. And that's what we're here to remember today. We're here to remember the people from these wonderful communities out here. And I think we need to say something about that. The communities of Gary and Riverside and Smithville and Fond du Lac and places like that, the people grew up with strong, hardy work ethics. In those days when the steel mill was open and Coolerator and places like that, people took a lunchbox, went to work every day, but they loved America and they respected America. Many of them had come here as immigrants. Even though a lot of those places are gone today, the children and the people, the offspring of those people are still here, and they have the same work ethics, and they have the same love of country and respect of country and respect of the people that are on that wall. For me, it's an amazing thing to see the progress of this memorial, because this memorial started with people like Joe and Steve Ballich and other people. I don't want to miss anybody, but it started with memories of those people that came back after World War II, and is the case with almost every memorial across America. When you look at who built them, it's the survivors. It's men that lived through those conflicts, that came home and said, what can I do to remember those that never got the chance to come home, those that didn't get to have kids and grandkids? And so they went forth and they built memorials, and that was the case with this one originally. And over a period of years, it had started to show some wear. And even though the people that were involved kept it up and kept the grass cut and kept other things done, it needed a little new life. And that a new generation of people stepped up. And that's what you see here today, is just the continuing of one generation to another of people from this community that said, we're not going to forget the people that came from these areas, that paid with their lives. I would like to end by just reading you something that I'm sure any of you that have ever been in the service, any of you that have ever been in combat, have heard a million times, and you might wonder, where did that thing come from? If you've watched TV, you've probably seen the series Band of Brothers, or you've heard that expression, or if you were a serviceman, you always knew we're a band of brothers. And you might have wondered in your mind, well, where did that originally come from? How did that first get here? And I'm going to read you something this morning that some of my brothers that ride motorcycle with will know, because it's something that we use in that piece. But it's where this phrase, band of brothers, came from. And it comes from a time in way in long history, October 25th, 1415, at a place called the Battle of Agincourt in France. The King of England, Henry V, at the time, found himself ready to do battle the next morning with the French army. His English army was outnumbered 5-1, and he knew that they were probably going to perish the next morning. So he got all of his men together, as many of them as he could together, and he wanted to try to lift their spirits up and to try to make them feel better about what they were going into, because a lot of them knew that they were way overnumbered and they may not make it through the night. And I'm just going to read you the little piece from his speech to his men, and you'll know where this came from then. He started off by saying, "Whoever does not have the stomach for this fight, let him depart. Give him his money and speed him his departure, since we wish not to die in this man's company. Whoever lives past today and comes home safely will rouse himself every year on this date and show his neighbors his scars. and tell him embellished stories of all their great feats of battle. These stories he will teach his son, and from this day until the end of the world he shall be remembered, we few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For whoever has shed his blood with me shall be my brother forever. And those men afraid to go will think themselves lesser men as they hear of how we fought and died together. It evidently moved his men to such a degree that the next morning, outnumbered 5-1, the English defeated the French at the Battle of Anglecourt. And so us here this morning, we are remembering people on that memorial over there who went into battle and never made it back. But the fact that you are here this morning is a testimony that they will never be forgotten. Thank you.